So today I'm talking about how to make yourself happy and create the life you love without relying on external sources to do it. But if you're new, my name's Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist and I love helping people create relationships that work. So the challenge here is that we tend to rely on external sources like other people, our job, hobbies to make us happy. But those things can be fleeting. What happens when you break your ankle and you can't do your sport, or the relationship you have breaks up? All of those external factors impact our ability to be happy. So what I'm going to show you is how you can create your own happiness and make yourself happy. So the first thing is I want you to write down what makes you happy. And I know this sounds really simple, but it is. Like on my list, some of the things are my morning cup of coffee. I get super excited about that because I'm a coffee lover. Watching a favorite movie, taking a walk around my neighborhood because it's really pretty. Those little things help me, especially when I'm struggling or I'm going through something really difficult. So what I want you to do is think about what are those little things in your life that you do that you may not even be aware of that make you smile, that make your day. Because sometimes we look at the big things like whether or not we are getting along with the people we love or how our job is doing. But let's face it, we can't totally control those things. But what we can control is what we do. So I want you to write a list right now of 10 things that make you feel happy. Because what I want you to do is I want you to feel in control more of your own happiness instead of always relying on external sources. So the next thing for how to make yourself happy and create the life you love is I want you to inventory your relationships. What's working? What isn't? I go over this a lot in my relationship checklist because sometimes what's impacting our happiness is our relationships. Maybe you're in a relationship that is toxic and you need to get out of it, or you're not able to get out of it, so you need to practice better boundaries or detachment. The other thing that's important to look at in our relationships is who truly supports you. Who are those people that make you smile, that you feel totally safe with? Because sometimes we might take those people for granted, and I don't want that for you. Because part of what we want to do when we inventory our relationships is to really assess who do we want to keep and who may we need to start letting go of, or practice detachment, which means you start to remove yourself emotionally and even physically so that you can preserve your own serenity. The next thing for how to make yourself happy and create the life you love is I want you to consider where you may need to forgive yourself. What are those old mistakes, regrets you might have, we all have them, that are getting in the way of you feeling happy and enjoying life? Because you might be having that daily conversation in your head about what you're doing wrong or what you regret. Because all of those thoughts contribute to how happy you can be in the moment. So in my resentment journal, I talk about writing a letter of forgiveness to yourself. And basically it's, "Dear me, I forgive you for," and then you list everything out. Because I believe that if you could have done better at that moment, you would have. And most of us make big mistakes on occasion. I know I have, and I've had to really work on self-forgiveness. But it's gotten a lot easier because I know that I'd be more than willing to forgive someone else who's made a mistake when they apologize. So why can't we do that for ourselves? So I really want you to consider where in your life may you need to practice self-forgiveness. And if there's any resistance to this, what is the secondary gain you're getting out of it? Which means when we resist doing something, we're getting something back. Maybe we're preserving a negative story that's familiar, or we don't want to deal with that other person because it's painful. What are you getting out of holding on to old resentment and hurt, or not forgiving yourself? Those are really important because in order to move on and create happiness for yourself, self-forgiveness is going to need to be a part of that. And in the program, sometimes people recommend acting as if. Act as if you forgive yourself today, even if you don't yet. Because that acting as if from 12-step programs can really be a helpful tool. It's kind of like fake it till you make it, but you can lead with that by telling yourself, you know what, for today, I'm just going to treat myself really well and I'm going to act as if I am enough. Because you are. And practicing self-forgiveness is definitely a part of being happy. The next thing for how to make yourself happy is try something new. Maybe you've always wanted to try pickleball, or you want to learn to knit, or you want to join a book club. What are those things that you've always wanted to try but haven't let yourself? For me, years ago, I've always been starstruck with movie stars, and I realized that I could start going to film festivals. So I went to Salt Lake City and went to Sundance one year, and then it became my yearly trip. And it was so helpful for me because I realized that I could achieve my own dream by letting myself take baby steps towards doing something that I knew was going to really make me happy. Because when I let myself do that, I could actually fulfill a dream. And that was very empowering. So I really want you to think about what are some of those things that you always wish you could do. Maybe on a smaller scale, you can plan to do that. Because fulfilling these kinds of dreams can really go a long way for how to make yourself happy. So another aspect of how to make yourself happy is address any issues of loneliness. Because if you're isolated socially, if you don't have enough support in your life, it's going to majorly impact how happy you can be. Because we're not meant to live alone. We're not meant to not have human contact. And I know this has changed a lot since COVID, where a lot of things are online, which in some ways can make it easier. But in other ways, we can find ourselves feeling more isolated because we're kind of used to staying at home. I know for me, I have a conference that I'm going to go to tomorrow, and I was actually thinking of just doing it online, and then I said to myself, Michelle, I need to go out and be with people. So I'm going to get up super early and do the conference in person because I need to be around other people, and I'm guessing you do too. So if you have any issues of loneliness, I want you to consider what kind of additional support you might need. This is where 12-step programs are great, or She Recovers, or other types of in-person or Zoom support groups. And sometimes the easiest way to do that is to pick an interest, like if you like gardening, join a group that talks about gardening. If you want personal growth, check out 12-step programs. Because surrounding ourselves with people who have similar interests is kind of a shortcut in being able to make new friends, because you're going to have that interest in common. If you want more support right now, say me too in the comments. You can absolutely get the support you need. The next thing for how to make yourself happy is consider adopting a pet. I've always had pets and they make such a huge difference in my life. Some of you may have met Sadie a couple weeks ago. I did a video and she was in the background. And you know, there's something about that unconditional love of a pet. So I really want you to consider a dog or a cat or a hamster. Any type of pet can really help combat loneliness. Now, another thing you can do for how to make yourself happy is I want you to make a gratitude list. And this is super easy, but do it out loud. So I want you to say out loud 10 things you're grateful for. And I do this a lot when I'm in a bad mood. By the time I get to 4 and 5, I'm really good because I'm reminded of what I do have in my life versus focusing on what I don't have in my life. Because that simple shift to gratitude can make a huge difference in your ability to be happy. Now, the next one for how to make yourself happy is I want you to change negative thoughts. These negative thoughts can be about yourself, other people, life in general, because what most people don't realize is that we have a daily conversation going on 24/7. But most people don't pay much attention to it. We just kind of realize it's a tape going on in the background. But those thoughts are powerful because if I go around in my day thinking this day is going to suck, it's going to majorly impact how happy I am. But if I can catch that negative thought, I can change it. I can say to myself, you know what? Everything's going to be okay. I can handle this one day at a time. Certain positive affirmations or sayings can really go a long way in creating more happiness. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go watch my video on how to change these negative thoughts because that's going to be your next step. Thanks so much.